I'm just
having a little conversation.
shutting the sound completely off my phone so I don't have to listen to it vibrate for the next however many minutes.
I don't blame you.
After we're done, I'll probably go hunt down something to snack on before I make the drive back home, but
yeah,
it all depends. I mean, I don't mind navigating Columbus or Westerville or anything of the like, but
yeah, it's pretty easy to get back home from here. Just go
pretty much the direct
back
opposite.
the way you came.
Yeah. I've got a GPS too, so it is what it is.
When you take a left out onto the street, past the light, and take the first curve onto the highway, you can get home from the second curve, but that takes you north on 270 versus south, which gets you back to 70.
Almost want to take... Now I kind of want to go to Easton and get something to eat, but I don't know if I want to spend that long away.
It's about the same time frame to get home either direction.
Yeah.
But if you leave after 3 o'clock, I recommend going north.
Okay.
If you leave before 3 o'clock, you're okay going south.
I-70 get kind of busy.
It's more going south on 270. 270 royally sucks because it's a 4-lane road, and the right two take you on 70
east, probably west.
70 west, and then the next single lane is how you get on to 70 going east.
Okay.
And then the next one continues you on 270.
Okay.
So it's a royal pain in the ass around 3 o'clock to
trying to
try to
shift
get into
through
that
rush
one
hour
lane.
traffic, and
Especially since there's maybe a mile and a half between the exit ramp and a line of cars that forms right around 3 o'clock.
That's fair.
So it's really hard to get going down that way. So, yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I'll figure it out. Again, GPSs are handy. The one I have actually gives me more detailed directions.
That please.
Huh? Oh, you want the wipes?
Yeah. Somebody plugged something sticky on this keyboard.
That sounds uncomfortable.
It is extremely uncomfortable.
Hey, it's a Lenovo.
It's a what?
Lenovo.
Yep.
Brand types.
I don't know anything about brand types. I just use the equipment. I don't care much about what it is.
The only reason I thought anything about it being a Lenovo is my brother shot me a message. He's going out to California for our friend Benson's wedding, and right before he left town yesterday, he called me and told me that apparently the Walmart on 21st Street had an Oculus Rift marked down by like $200, and I just got I'd say a low to mid-tier gaming PC.
Nice.
And I had the spare cash, and I'm like, I wanted an Oculus because you can do modded songs for Beat Saber, and there's some really cool songs that Beat Saber, can't get due to licensing rights, and I said screw it, I'd go ahead and go for it. I don't really ever buy myself much of anything anyway, so.
I'm basically the same way. It's like, oh hey, I've got my tax refund. It's time to pay bills.
Pretty much. I paid off one of my student loans with my tax refund, and then I can't remember what I spent the rest of it on, just random off the computer and then random other shit. Last 200 of it's probably going to go towards our zoo membership for the year.
I'm going to be spending a good chunk of my refund on school.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Me too. Pretty much always tired though.
Yeah. Monday was hellishly long to the point of I think I stressed myself out and made myself sick yesterday.
What did you do?
Well, Monday I intern at the Blitz on Mondays. So for 4:45 in the morning, I am up and
radio
moving
station.
around. Yeah. And on the road by like 5 after.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah, 5 after 5. Literally driving down the road. It sucks. Anyway, so I did that. And then I had a thing at ABC 6 that's being kind of kept down low, because not every student was given the opportunity to.
That's fair.
Do it. So we're kind of keeping it like.
Yeah.
Talk about it too much.
That's fine. I won't say anything. I mean.
I wasn't worried.
I should remember, but I might not even remember. You know, it's nothing against you. It's just.
Your memory's crap and you're tired.
Constantly, yes.
Yep. Well, you've got a baby, so.
I got a baby. I work 10, 12 hours a day.
I did the blitz from 6 to 10, and then from like 10:15 until 11:30, I was at ABC 6, and then I came in here, and I was here until almost 3 o'clock. And
by the way, just so I know how to
almost 1 o'clock.
Censor myself, what is the what rating should I keep myself at? Because depending on like if you end up having me tell random kitchen stories, I want to make sure I'm not
PG.
PG?
PG.
Okay.
Keep it. Think Disney. Keep it Disney.
If you sneeze wrong, Disney kicks you out, so.
That's fair. That is very, very fair.
I'm
gonna lose my hoodie real quick.
Okay.
Podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a couple of the people from the Discord that I'm on regularly were like, hey, so you're doing a thing? Yeah. We were talking about it for a minute while we were... What were we doing? Actually, I think it was Monster Hunter World we were playing, and I had at least one of the people from New Orleans that were probably going to make a trip in spring down to see near Mardi Gras, because there are a couple guys that do parades, play music, they throw out beads on floats, stuff like that.
I thought they were already doing Mardi Gras.
They are this year. I'm talking about next year.
Oh, next year, okay.
So
yeah.
I think
I was going to say, it's like Mardi Gras is already happening.
Yeah, I think it's February 16th is when Mardi Gras is next year.
I don't know anything about it.
But I guess there's some like crazy stuff going on where people aren't being as safe as they should be, and
oh yeah, did you hear the new law that the mayor is passing about the floats? Yes,
because they canceled like halfway through. They canceled, I think it's the Endymion or something like that parade, because a couple of the guys were really excited about going and being in that one, and they canceled it, so they were all pretty mad about it.
Yeah. Well, not even that. A couple of people died during the parade because they got run over by the specific type of float.
Yeah,
I can't remember what the type of float is, but they literally got run over by part of this float, so they're now banning that type of float. It's the one with the one vehicle, one truck pulling like multiple trailers. So it's like...
Actually, I wonder if I still have that picture too. Not that post. I don't know if I'll be able to... There's a lot of posting. Oh. I think this is the particular float type they're banning. Just the chassis under the float.
I don't know.
It says it's a video, but it lied to me.
It sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Wow, that's a lot of feedback. Okay, so, well, we'll deal with it.
I'm trying to keep my face in one direction and my eyes in another, because I prefer to look at people when I'm talking to them, but I'm trying to make sure that I'm at least projecting relatively towards the microphone.
Oh, you're good.
I'm not used to, you know me, I don't do things most of the time.
I didn't usually do media type things until I started school. And now I kind of have to do media things.
That's fair. It's kind of what you're going to school for.
Yes, it is what I'm going to school for. There are some people here, though, that they're literally going for the behind-the-scenes stuff. But they have to do in front of the camera stuff too. It's not optional. You have to do it. And
kind of sounds like my school. I mean, it's supposed to be super well rounded. They make you do a little bit of everything, which they did like 8-week periods versus doing full semesters.
Yeah.
And they just such a fast pace. They forced a little bit of everything into everybody. And there are people that were at our school for baking and pastry that didn't want to do any of the rest of it.
We've got people like that here too. We've got one guy that is here for audio, and that's it. So I told him he was supposed to be writing a script for a TV commercial.
Yeah. And
he basically just did bullet points, and I was like, no, this is not a script. You need to redo it, and then I need to approve of it. And he was like, well, I didn't ask you. Dude, I'm the producer. If something goes amiss with your commercial, it's on me. Yeah. You gotta redo it. You have to give me an actual script. And he walked out. It was more complex than that, but for the sake of the conversation, I'm gonna leave it alone at that.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I do. I get itchy and pick at my arms.
Nervous twitching.
Yeah, nervous twitch.
That's why I'm glad my hands are under the desk for the most part.
Yeah.
I tend to I have trouble keeping my thoughts straight. I'll sit there and kind of tap my fingers to my thumb, and it'll kind of help me line my thoughts back up. Usually.
Is that like an OCD type thing?
A little bit, yeah. My dad had it.
OCD type tendency.
Mm-hmm. I also do something weird called, I've always just called it walk down memory lane, like where if I'm going to do something in the kitchen then I forget what I'm doing, which I mean happens. It's so busy anymore that you've got stuff constantly on your mind, and sometimes you forget what's right in front of your face. But I ended up I'll walk and I'll kind of look back at the walls and stuff, and sometimes like an image will pop into my head or a word will pop into my head as I'm looking at the walls, just looking at my surroundings as I'm walking back to my station, and it kind of triggers whatever I was going for.
Yeah. I usually just call that zoning out.
That's fair.
I saw a post on Facebook that, I don't remember, do you know Jolene?
Yeah, I know Jo.
It's a picture, a thing that she posted about people who can see things that aren't there.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember the exact word for it, but there are people that it's like, okay, they can envision something just being there, like a water bottle being on the counter over there. But I'm like, yeah, kinda. I call it zoning out.
Yeah.
Like, I'll zone out. My pupils will literally, like, quadruple in size. It's like they almost completely overtake my iris. And then I'll just be kind of staring off into space, and this entire, like, story will be playing out in front of my eyes that nobody else can see.
It's a product of a hyperactive imagination.
There you go. I'm okay with that.
Me too. I don't do it nearly as much as I used to, but I mean, it's been a thing for me for a while, so.
I think it makes me a better D&D player.
Sometimes how you get your better answers.
Yeah. Like, completely imagine the scenario and play it out in your head, and okay, I didn't like that, like, at all.
What?
I don't know. I'm losing myself. It's okay.
That's fine.
It's just, I'm tired.
Speaking of, we're currently in a campaign that we started running one-shots on the side because people wanted more D&D, but we only wanted to do the main campaign once a week because we knew everybody would be able to gather like Monday nights on Discord after I got off of work.
Yeah.
And so we started doing like we started with one random Wednesday. We're like, okay, we'll do a one-shot. And then the guy that's DMing is like, by the way, I'm folding this back into the campaign. So we're like, okay, whatever, it's fine. Our 11th level characters showed up in the campaign with our main characters, which were like 3 at the time, and a bunch of crazy stuff happened. And then he's like, okay, that was fun. Does anybody want to do another one-shot next week? And all these one-shots just ended up really being side quests.
I'm trying to figure out what the camera's doing. Battery. I don't like my face being right up here.
Why would I mind your face? Your face always looks fantastic. Shut up.
Well, it would stop recording if there was something wrong with the SD card. I have no idea what that thing flashing in the middle of it means. Huh. Okay. So I should probably do my intro. Introduce you. Instead of just having this very random off-the-wall conversation that we've been having for 16 minutes now.
Yeah, it happens.
Comfortable?
Yep.
So much sometimes. Okay. My face. I don't like it being in my face. Okay. I hate doing intros, by the way, because I have to stare dead at the camera and talk. And
Yeah.
yeah, I hate that. And for whatever reason, I get nervous when I have to do it.
Yeah, I feel like, me, I don't typically like cameras. I don't typically like my own voice.
Yeah, talking to cameras. Nobody in media likes the sound of their own voice, by the way.
Yeah,
There are a couple of exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, people on the radio don't like the sound of their own voice, which is refreshing.
Speaking of, I've been listening to 97.9 a lot. And, like, if I have to point out like a solid radio voice, it's Dave. It's the Dave and Jimmy show in the mornings.
Yeah, I don't like Dave that much.
Really?
Yeah.
And I don't know necessarily personality. It's just like I just feel like he has like a solid voice.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Lopers. And Kelly Quinn. Oh my God, Kelly Quinn.
I honestly have no idea who that is.
You'll have to look her up. She's the traffic person for the Blitz.
Oh.
Traffic news. I don't think she does weather, like ever. But anyway. Hey, this is Red. Welcome to the Peanut Gallery. I'm sitting here today with my friend Rob. Rob Rowe.
Howdy.
He is a chef. Hi, chef.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, it's a weird conversation. Don't judge me. Okay, so we're talking about chefy things today.
Sounds fun. There's a
You-
lot to talk about in that.
Yeah, just remember, you're not in the kitchen. Keep your language PG. Please and thank you.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, so we're talking about chefy stuff. What is your favorite thing to make? Chefy. Chef.
I mean, it depends. I like playing around with recipes. If I'm at my current employer, I'd say it's honestly probably just homemaking fried rice, just fine-tuning that recipe.
I love fried rice.
So does half the people I work with.
The rice, the eggs, and the veggies.
I typically make mine without soy sauce too. A lot of people like putting soy sauce in it to start, and I like letting the flavors themselves shine. Then if you want to add soy sauce later, fine, but it can be good without it.
You're gonna have to make me some fried rice now. That's gonna have to be a thing that happens, because I've never had fried rice that doesn't have soy sauce in it.
That's fine. I think I'm making it this weekend. We have this week's the curry bowl, but we always have.
Oh, I love curry too.
Yeah, it's
Masala.
it's this lemon chicken curry with it's cauliflower rice.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on the cauliflower rice.
Yeah,
make it with normal.
We got regular rice. Normally they wouldn't do that, but I can make stuff in the back. It's fine.
Why would you replace rice with cauliflower anyway? Isn't the whole point of replacing stuff with cauliflower to like cut down on carbs and fats and stuff like that? But rice doesn't have any
I mean, rice has carbs.
Really?
Rice has carbs all day long. Just doesn't have gluten. Unless it's processed in a facility with.
Okay.
And then there's always, like, glutenized rice flour, which is weird. But nice Japanese products.
You learn something new every day when you're talking to a chef. I promise. It's like, you did one now? Anyway. So, more chefy stuff. And this is all going to be edited at the end, so
that's fine.
Swearing or if there's a lag in the conversation, it's just going to get edited out. Oh, what was I talking about? What was it?
Well, first you asked my favorite thing to make. If I'm not at work, Tasha and I have been playing with making like homemade ramen bowls, like super fancy, super tasty stuff. And if I look at this, I might be able to find a picture for you. It might not be the most flattering picture on the planet of it, but we usually do pretty well. Go through my conversations with my friend M. So usually I post them. But one thing I would like to talk about is all the weird produce you come across working in a kitchen. It's like very large, very like odd shapes. I never showed this to you, but there's a cucumber next to a full-size can of hand spray. The can of hand spray is no larger or smaller than.
I have to show this to everybody.
That's fine.
That's an average size can of aerosol veggie spray and a cucumber.
There's more. Actually, there's a second thing in that. I think I have another picture of. Oh shoot, what was it? It wasn't just the cucumber either, but now I'm not gonna find it. Oh, it's a carrot.
Like, is it bagel? Oh my gosh!
Battle carrot.
That's a fat carrot.
For the rating, I won't mention some of the other things I've found, but you can come across some pretty funny looking fruits and stuff.
Yeah. Holy cow, average size aerosol can of spray. Then carrot.
Come across mushrooms like the size maybe of your pinky nail. It's ridiculously small stuff. I haven't
My
taken
pinky nail is that big.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not big. And mushroom.
Shoot. I'm going to show you this is from the house, so probably keep it here, but like,
ooh, pretty.
That's one of the less decorative bowls we've done. And we have like all the ingredients. We had to order it off of Amazon because it's either that or go to like Tensuke or Columbus Asian Market, stuff like that. And the drive, I'd almost rather just order it off of Amazon since most of the products are dried or vacuum sealed anyways.
Yeah, I want you to make me a pork cutlet bowl now. Like, I saw it on Yuri on Ice and I'm like, I want a pork cutlet bowl.
I can talk to Tasha. We bought a stock pot. Well, I bought her a stock pot because she was trying to refine a more traditional Japanese broth.
Mm-hmm.
And so we used pork tails and chicken feet. You wouldn't think that sounds good, but it has made some of the heartiest, most flavorful broth that I have ever had.
Pigtails and chicken feet.
Yeah. It's
interesting combination.
All the bone marrow and the collagen and stuff in the skin kind of thickens the broth naturally, and the flavors that it gives off. People think that oh, it's weird, oh, it's spare parts, but
I think chicken feet, and I think pickled chicken feet, which is just weird and gross. People.
I won't do
weird and gross.
My wife's dad used to eat them. I always wondered why, but if that's what he liked, that's what he liked.
That's what he liked. Yuck. I don't like vinegar, so I won't even eat pickled eggs.
Tasha hates vinegar stuff.
Yeah.
I love pickles, though. She's actually working on pickling her own ginger too, for all this.
Yep. No.
And
I'll pass on the pickles. Pickled anything.
You'd be surprised. like when you actually put it in the broth, because you don't just lay it on top. You don't typically eat it separately, unless you're doing like young pickled ginger, which is usually more like pink in color because it's either super young or it's stored with beet juice or with pickling beets. And I mean, that's usually used, as I'm sure you've seen, with sushi and stuff, but it can be put in ramen. They don't always use like raw matured ginger because it's not really spicy, but I guess kind of spicy.
I don't like spicy things that much either.
You have to pickle it longer to kind of tone down all the flavors, and you have to use a little more salt. And the ginger that Tasha made tastes less like pickled and a little more salty, but when you drop it in the broth, it kind of infuses that little bit of extra salt and the kick from the ginger, and it makes for a pretty tasty thing. I mean, you can avoid it in the soup if you really want to avoid actually biting into the ginger, because it's otherwise raw, but I like it.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, I figured I'd be hungry by the time we got done with this, because...
Yeah, talking about chefy things makes you hungry. I don't care who you are, talking about chefy things makes you hungry. Unless you've just eaten, which nobody eats before talking about chefy things.
Meh, sometimes.
No, nobody talks before eating chefy things because nobody thinks about talking about chefy things until it's a conversation.
That's fair. Now I'm going to think about what I want for lunch for a while, whether I want to wait till I get home and actually make something, or if I just want to grab something on the way home, because half the time you work all day making food, and people think, oh, you must do all these great things at home.
No.
And it's like on my days off maybe, but usually when I'm working or if I have to
fast food,
put out a lot of stuff, it's whatever's easiest, throw it in the microwave.
I worked in a Pizza Hut Express for a while, and I kid you not, I didn't even want to look at pizza. I didn't want to think about pizza. I used to put out like 200, 250 personal pizzas in a single day on the weekend. So Friday would be 250 pizzas. Saturday would be 350 pizzas. Sunday would be 200 pizzas. I didn't want to look at pizzas, like, ever.
I feel that. I feel that in my soul.
Yeah, when you make something constantly, you don't want to look at it, don't want to think about it. Chefs, I am sure that they cook all day. The last thing they want to do is go home and cook some more. So
plus half the time
pre-made stuff,
depending on what kind of restaurant you're in, because I mean everything's got a little bit different feel to it, whether it's home style, fine dining, buffet service, banquets.
I'm sure even just the difference between Red Lobster and Olive Garden are completely different.
Kinda.
Kinda.
I mean, Red Lobster and Olive Garden, I'd both say, are almost like low-end, like fast food of fine dining. And I always make the joke that Olive Garden is Italian McDonald's.
Italian McDonald's. Wow.
It's effectively what it is. It's something that they can produce quick and easy. I mean, pasta's cheap to make. Pasta sauce is cheap to make or to get in. They probably have pretty decent profit margins. They may also have a lot of waste at the end of the night if they have to hold certain things for too long. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. It's like, learn something new, right?
Yeah. Adjust myself in this darn seat.
Yeah.
Seems like I keep sliding down very slowly.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides of these chairs. If you don't prop yourself up just right, you're gonna slide.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got a butt.
I don't have one of those.
Oh, sorry. If you don't have a butt, you slide. If you do have a butt, you're pretty much okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Weird as that may sound. If you have a butt, you're not going to slide. If you don't have a butt, bye.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm a little weird.
Nothing wrong with that.
Do I have any more questions about you? About chefy stuff for you? We've been here for 40 minutes now.
Yeah. I think the first 15, 16 of that, though, was random rants.
Which is okay. I'm probably going to use some of them anyway.
That's fair.
Because you were more comfortable, I think, before we actually started talking about the chef stuff.
A little bit.
Yeah. Because once we started talking about the chef stuff, once I did my intro, you were like, oh, hey, we're recording now. Now I'm nervous.
A little bit. It's always been weird about being on camera, having my voice recorded. And I don't mind it, but you also have to realize I'm used to being buried in the back where I deal with who I want to deal with. Yeah. I don't deal with
pretty much the head chef is the only one that ever has to leave the kitchen, and that's just to deal with unruly customers. Yeah,
which unfortunately happens more often than it should. But again, it all
people suck.
Yeah. There's always something the one question I do get asked sometimes is with me and cooking, like how do I feel about going out to eat? I'm picky. I try to be understanding, at least with the wait staff, because I know the troubles they go through, and
it's not their fault that your steak is not the way you wanted it cooked.
Unfortunately, yeah. And Tasha and I went to Applebee's with a friend for their birthday, and Tasha's horribly allergic to most fish and shellfish.
Yeah.
And apparently the dingus on the grill had decided to cross-contaminate and cook her chicken and somebody else's lobster or some other fish. We don't know exactly what it was, but the effects can be pretty horrible, especially depending on
anaphylactics. That's nothing to play around with.
No, not at all. I personally, I have like an area on my grill for everything, and obviously it also depends on what it is, on how much heat I'll put on it. But like my grill at work isn't the biggest. I'd say it's a slightly under average size grill, maybe like half size from what I'm used to, and like my bottom right's always for my fish, shellfish, and then I kind of try to work everything else around. I still try and keep things in a particular area because, you know, people might be allergic to certain proteins, and better to avoid it when you can. But
yeah,
as long as everything else has its one area and the fish and shellfish has its own area, then usually you're okay.
Well, that's good.
But back to the...
What happened to Tasha?
She just got mildly nauseous, and we talked to the manager at the time and dealt with it there. They comped her meal and comped, I think, one other person's meal at the table because they were gluten-free, and there were issues there.
Nice.
But usually I don't like overly inspect my food because I'm going out to have a fun time, but I am a little more mindful and weary of what's going on with my food, and I try not to be too critical of service staff because I know what they go through. I know roughly what they get paid. Obviously it depends on where you're at and how like upscale a dining place you're at on what they actually get paid, but still it's pretty rough for pretty much anybody working front of house. So
yeah,
I try to be as understanding as possible with that. It's like I get bad food, but the server's nice. I still make sure that they get a good tip, and then, you know, deal with whatever I have to deal with the front of house manager.
The lesson there is don't be a jerk to your server. It's not their fault. Most of the time. Sometimes it is.
If you are, I would suggest you don't go back to where you just went to, because some kitchen staff
hold a
grudge. If they know who you are, they remember who you are, or you order some specific thing every time and they figure out who you are, they might not be super nice to it. I personally don't do that, but I can't say that it doesn't happen.
Okay, well, I think that's about all the time that I've actually got today. So thank you so much for coming in. Do you have any Instagram or anywhere that people can can find you if they want to ask you more questions about chefy stuff, or?
I mean, if they really want to ask, I don't have any like professional pages set up at the moment. I've been meaning to do that forever.
Now's his chance.
Yeah, but I can probably put something up in the next week or so and send it to you, or probably not my personal Facebook. It's just littered with memes and cat pictures.
Let's not send them there.
No.
So I will keep you all posted on any updates for his stuff, like pictures of food and recipes and whatever he decides to post on his professional page that I am now going to make him create. Me, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Red Storyteller, Red Storyteller 89 on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.